Hello everybody and welcome to a quick breakdown video for tour number 12 and the courses that we do have there. Tour number 12 is a very interesting course. It's when I do believe it starts to become really difficult in tour play and when you really need to focus to get your win. And in this breakdown video I will talk you through the shootouts and the par 3s that we do have on tour number 12, also showing you an example guide for our exclusive tour shootout guides, and also speaking a little bit about what type of ball and club that is key for this particular tour. If you're looking to get an advantage when playing tour 12 or any tour from tour 7 up to tour 13, you go to patreon.com/golfclashtommy, or you scan the QR code here directly on the screen and you sign up for the exclusive tour shootout guides. The good thing with that is that you will then directly get an advantage over your opponent, and it will help yourself keeping yourself winning more than 50% of the games, because there is no one that is winning all the games, so it's never gonna happen. But the goal is always to win more than 50% of the games, because if you do that, then you will always increase with trophies and you will always increase in coins, which is kind of the deal with tour play, because you do want to play tour play to clear all the tours and be maxed out, and maybe then take a screenshot of you as number 1 on the world ranking. But let's have a little look at the courses on tour 12. So let's take a look at the courses on tour number 12, the shootouts to be more specific. You go to golfclashtommy.com, your source for free content, where you have loads of stuff here. So if you have never checked this one out, make sure to go to our website. Everything on the website is free. You go to guides and then shootouts, and then we're gonna click ourselves to tour number 12, the origin links, and we're gonna start with the Glen Monarch Estate. And this is a classic one. We had this one so many times on tour 12. I think it has always been on tour 12, maybe for 1 or 2 rotations we haven't had that, but this is one of the courses that players will be super dialed in. So if you are a new player coming in to play tour 12, you're going to play against players that know these 3 par 3s very, very well, and that shootout guides reflects that as well. Hole number 2, the standard way of playing is a bouncing over the rough and sand, and it's going to be close in more or less what wind angle. Super simple one in general. Hole number 4, it is all about the rough bump, in my opinion. Sure, you can use the pad that is further back, but it's not really the thing that we do want to use. We want to use the rough bump and then make sure to have the correct spins, and then you're fine on that one. Hole number 7, maybe a little bit tricky, and this is mainly due to the water in the center. There's it's quite a far bounce, or like a big bounce that you need to have there. And if you do have a headwind, it's very easy to bounce short. In a tailwind, it's very easy to go long, but it's still the way to go. In a headwind, we're playing mainly with a driver, and in a tailwind, play mainly with a wood club. So that obviously adds on the difficult part. We're having to switch clubs and stuff like that. But it's all about the spins, really, to compensate for the extended ball guideline and the compressed ball guideline. Maple Bay, I mean, if we're gonna rank in terms of difficulty, Glen Monarch is definitely the easiest one. Maple Bay is not hard, but it's not easy either. Somewhere in between, in my opinion. Where hole number 3, you can play many different ways, but the normal way of playing is to bounce on the fairway on the bottom left. Hole number 6 is kind of like a double thing, I would say. It's to bounce on the fairway that is at the bottom left, essentially, and to bounce over the water and the sand to get up to the right of the pin. And I say that again, to the right of the pin is the important part, because that will let the ball to fall down towards the pin. Coming in left of pin, that's gonna fall almost out of the green. Hole number 8 plays with massive elevation. That's the only thing. It's pretty open, otherwise need to pay attention to when you pull down into the bunker and stuff, as you're gonna lose distance. But in general, a fairly straightforward par 3. But as I said on the Glen Monarch, having something to follow, like a guide on Maple Bay, will help you immensely. Now we increase the difficulty a little bit and looking at the Lake Wabasca and Lake Wabasca is not easy at all, even though, I mean, it's pretty straightforward on at least two of the par 3s, hole 4 and hole 7, but starting at hole number 2 is a really difficult one to get close to pin. If you get close to pin, like within 3 yards, it's most likely a winner. And what you need to have in mind there is, depending on what type of play you're playing, you will more or less always adjust either to a higher point or to a lower point. And that's something you have to either compensate with spins or by using overpower or underpower. That's what makes that hole, in my opinion, very difficult. Easy for players to go directly into the water or miss the green, whatnot, but you will see yourself winning a lot of games by just being on the green, because it is a difficult par 3. Hole number 4 is then on the opposite of hole number 2. It's actually a fairly easy one, and it is all about trying to catch the groove coming in from left to right, because there is a nice little funnely spot there that will get you close to green, and your opponent will be most likely close to pin, and here you need to be focused and do your job. Hole number 7, massive green. It's all about the spins here, because we're bouncing like a lot. If you are, like, to just give you an idea of how big that green is, if you would have the ball just before the green, you have a short iron towards the pin. That's how big that green is. So what we're looking for here is obviously to have the correct type of speed up towards the pin. Very difficult one to drop, but fairly easy to get close. Now, I would say the Cohong Resorts is going to be, in my opinion, as close to as difficult as Lake Wabasca. And the reason for that is that Cohong, especially hole 2 and hole 8, plays with a lot of elevation. So we do have the Cohong there on hole number 2. You can play that one many different ways. Hard to go into much detail there, in my opinion. It's also the Cohong Resorts 2, so the pin stands a little bit harder than what the normal one is as well. Hole number 4, pretty straightforward, backspin play or just a bounce up play. Hole number 8, though, is probably the one where if you are on green, you can equal that as an easy win many of the time. So there you do have the 4 courses, a little quick breakdown for you as a Tour 12 player. And as always, scan the QR code whenever, or use the link patreon.com/golfclashtommy to get the exclusive Tour Shootout Guide and start winning more in Golf Clash. Taking a look at the key club here, and this is going to be exactly the same as Tour number 13 when it comes to the Cataclysm and to have as wood club. There are a lot of par 5s and par 4s that are long, thinking especially on the par 5s of the Glen Monarch. We do have Lake Wabasca that has some as well, Cohong has some, and so the Cataclysm here is definitely key in my opinion. Don't use the sniper, that will put you in an awkward spot where you might force yourself having to play with a P4 ball or a P5 ball of tee, which then will mess up the shootout. So Cataclysm is the wood club to play, even if you would be having it as low as level 5 or even level 4 for that matter. The ball to focus on, I'm going to change the Kingslayer to a Kingmaker. The guide we have is based on the mid-wind of Kingmaker. You can obviously use a wind 4 ball or wind 5 ball to decrease the wind. But if following our guide, have in mind though that you have to tweak it slightly because the wind strength will be lower than when it is with a wind 3. There are people that thinking that can I play with a Titan? Yes, you can, but some of the shootouts are somewhat dependent on having 3 side spin. Then you will have to tweak if so with curls. So I believe that the Kingmaker is the ball to use here, which is also the thing that we think on all the tours that do have that comes from 3rd tee. So Kingmaker and the Cataclysm as key equipment here on Tour 12. So an example guide here to give you some more direct information of what you can expect by signing up with exclusive Tour Shootout guides. You can choose a tour from Tour 7 up to Tour 13 and get immediate access. Scan the QR code here on the screen or go to patreon.com/golfclashtommy and sign up. You can bundle that together with tournament and checkpoint challenge if you like, or you just buy it alone. If you do have any questions, you can always email support@golfclashtommy.com and the guys will help you out there before signing up. Live clickable links to useful places, including exclusive Telegram Tour chat. Yes, we do have a Telegram chat where you can ask questions directly to us that has created the guide. Proper version control, so you know which version of the guide you have. General advice page to give you information on what ball and Powerball setting we're suggesting you to play. Recommended ball, driver, and also wood club to list. Some information there as well, because obviously we want you to play with the clubs that we have designed the shots for and that we do believe is the best for the particular tour. Sometimes that can change depending on what type of course they put on the tour. Now we have some curl pictures as well, and then we have menu slide with easy to identify hole images to take you straight to the hole that you need, saving time. Let's click on this one. You can see that we jump directly to this one. Home button takes you back to the menu slide, easy navigation. Pressing that one, we jump back. Very easy to do. And then we do have the landing spot pictures nearly always before spin. Simple, yes, and that is the key with being a good tour player, is to be able to play regardless what wind angle, and then in an easy way find the spot that you want to have your landing, like your club in. So always trying to design shots before spin. This will allow you to, regardless what wind angle you have when you start, to find that position easily, and then you can just add spin and then obviously whatever curl and adjustment that you need. 8 wind specific info boxes to give you the adjustment, spin and curl, and this is something you might be used for when it comes to the golden shot. We go with a similar type of format to give you can see the adjustment and then the spins and then the curl. Hole overview and landing spots, here we are marking with an X to where we do want to have the ball to land with our first bounce. And then key written advice and instructions, easy to follow. If there's something to think about, especially to explain the landing position, is something that we're using that box for. So there you do have an example guide. You can see how easy it is to actually follow this, and it's it will help you win more than 50% of the games. So there you do have it, ladies and gentlemen, a quick little breakdown for tour number 12. Hopefully you got some good information there, and as I said in the beginning, you can find a lot of information on golfclashtommy.com, but also the best way to increase your win percentage and get an advantage over your opponent is to scan the QR code here on the screen, or use the link patreon.com/golfclashtommy to sign up for our Tour 12 guides, or any tour guides for Tour 7 up to Tour 13. We, of course, offer other things than tour guides. We have checkpoint challenge guides, tournament guides as well. You can bundle it together and buy it separately. That's completely up to you. In the end here, I want to wish you the best of luck in your Golf Clash game.